All right, so we're going to dive into these RoleCatcher.com resources all about becoming a visual arts teacher.
Okay.
And, clearly this is something you're interested in.
Yeah.
That really cool blend of creativity and education,
Mm,
and maybe even a bit of tech these days.
definitely.
Who isn't into that, right?
Right. Yeah.
One of the things that jumped out at me when I was looking at these resources
Right.
is how they really highlight that there are opportunities out there beyond just the traditional classroom.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to just teach art in a school anymore.
It's really interesting how RoleCatcher highlights that you can teach in all sorts of recreational contexts.
Yeah.
They mentioned community centers, art studios,
Wow.
even freelancing, like establishing your own art school.
Wow. Yeah, that's really cool.
And you're not boxed in at all.
Imagine setting your own curriculum, choosing your own students, being your own boss.
Right.
That must be incredibly rewarding.
Yeah.
Although I imagine it also comes with a whole other set of challenges.
Hopefully.
And speaking of challenges, I did notice that this guide doesn't shy away from
Yeah,
the realities of the job market.
that's right.
It's not all sunshine and roses.
Yeah, they present a balanced view,
Right.
outlining both the pros and the cons
Yeah.
of being a visual arts teacher.
Totally.
And, while obviously it offers this amazing creative outlet
Mm-hmm.
and the chance to inspire young minds,
For sure.
it does come with competition for jobs
Right.
and the potential need for, ongoing professional development.
Yeah. Always keep learning.
Exactly.
Definitely.
So they're not just painting a rosy picture.
Oh,
They're
no.
giving you the full palette, so to speak.
I like that.
Oh.
So let's talk about this idea of a practice-based approach.
Okay.
It's mentioned a lot in the guide, but what does that actually look like
Yeah.
in a learning environment?
So essentially it's about guiding students to discover their own artistic style
Okay.
rather than just simply replicating techniques. So it's about nurturing creativity, experimentation, and personal expression.
So instead of saying, this is how you draw a portrait.
Right.
Yeah.
It would be more like exploring different portraiture styles throughout history,
Okay.
encouraging students to experiment with different mediums,
Mm-hmm.
and ultimately helping them to kind of develop their own unique approach to portraiture.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
It's really about giving the students the tools and the freedom to find their own artistic voice,
Absolutely.
which is so important.
It is.
But it also makes me wonder, how do you balance that freedom
Right.
with also making sure that they have the technical skills they need to succeed?
Of course.
Because art isn't just about feeling. There's
Really?
a certain level of craft involved as well.
Absolutely. And that's where the guide's emphasis on skills
Right.
beyond just artistic talent comes in.
Okay.
They highlight communication,
Yeah.
time management,
Okay.
and even a bit of psychology as being really crucial for visual arts teachers.
Right. Because you're not just teaching techniques, you're managing a classroom,
Exactly.
understanding different learning styles, and you're motivating students to do their best work.
That's a multifaceted role.
It really is.
Yeah.
It's like you're an art coach almost.
Yeah.
You're there to nurture their talent,
Yeah.
but also to push them beyond their comfort zones and help them develop the discipline and the resilience that they need to actually make it
Yeah.
in the art world.
Totally.
Which reminds me, the guide also touched on how digital tools are really changing the game for artists these days.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
So I'd love to dig into that a little
Yeah,
bit more.
yeah.
What are some specific examples?
Well, we're talking about things like 3D modeling software
Right.
that allows students to create sculptures virtually.
Wow.
You've got digital painting programs that can mimic the textures and effects of like traditional mediums,
Oh, wow.
and even virtual reality experiences that can transport students to immersive art installations
Really?
around the world.
That's incredible.
Yeah, so these tools not only enhance the creative process,
Right.
but they open up like new avenues for expression and collaboration.
It's mind-blowing.
It is.
I remember taking art classes where, the extent of our technological advancement was an electric pencil sharpener.
Right.
Speaking of different paths, I noticed the guide also mentioned some kind of unexpected academic backgrounds
Yeah.
that could be advantageous for aspiring visual arts teachers.
It's not all about like having that traditional fine arts degree.
Right. It wasn't just that.
Yeah, they highlight fields like art therapy,
Okay.
where you would gain these deep insights into the therapeutic power of art,
Interesting.
illustration, which could be really useful for teaching visual storytelling
Okay.
and even art and visual culture education,
Mm.
which kind of dives into the historical and cultural context of art.
I have to admit, I'm not entirely sure I know what art and visual culture education is.
Sure.
Could you elaborate on that a little bit?
Yeah, so it basically delves into how art interacts with society, exploring themes of identity, representation, and
Hmm.
power dynamics.
Wow.
So it's about understanding how art both reflects and shapes our understanding of the world around
So
us.
someone with this background would bring a really valuable perspective to the classroom.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It encourages critical thinking and sparks these really important conversations
Yeah.
about art's role in society.
That's fascinating.
Yeah.
It seems like the ideal visual arts teacher would be this incredible blend of like artist, mentor,
Right.
and cultural commentator.
Yeah,
That's a lot to live up to,
it is.
which makes me think about professional development.
Okay.
Like, how do visual arts teachers keep their skills sharp and stay ahead of the curve in such a dynamic field?
Well, the guide really emphasizes the importance of continuous learning.
Okay.
So this could involve attending workshops and seminars on new artistic techniques and technologies,
Okay.
immersing oneself in artist residencies or internships, or even just staying up to date with art history and contemporary art trends by visiting galleries and museums.
Right, just being immersed in that world.
Exactly. It's about cultivating this mindset of lifelong learning.
That makes a lot of sense. You
Yeah.
can't teach what you don't know, right?
Exactly.
And speaking of knowledge,
Okay.
the guide also delved into the different career stages
Yeah.
a visual arts teacher might experience.
Mhm.
And they really paint this picture of a career with real growth potential.
They do.
It's not just about being stuck in a classroom forever, is it?
No, it's not at all.
Yeah.
The guide outlines a path that could lead from assisting established artists or teaching small workshops
Okay.
to eventually leading a whole art department,
Wow.
developing curriculum, or even partnering with really prestigious art organizations.
Wow. So you could go from like prepping easels and mixing paint
Right.
to like curating exhibitions and leading international art workshops.
Yes.
That's pretty inspiring, actually.
It is.
But I'm also curious about the more practical side of things.
Yeah.
Like, how does someone even begin to build a career like that?
Right.
The guide mentioned something about showcasing your own work.
It's really important.
Yeah.
They stress the importance of building a strong portfolio
Yeah.
that showcases both your own artistic abilities and your teaching philosophy.
They need both.
You do. And they even suggest participating in local art competitions or exhibiting your work in galleries while you're teaching.
Wow. So you should be actively
Yes.
making art and showing art.
Exactly. It's about demonstrating that you're actively engaged with the art world.
So it's not enough to just be this amazing, talented artist tucked away in your studio.
Oh.
You've really got to put yourself out there.
You have to be visible. You've got to network with other artists.
Network is key.
Yes.
And that's where RoleCatcher itself becomes such a valuable tool,
Right.
right? Because we've talked a lot about
Yeah.
the creative and pedagogical aspects of being a visual arts teacher.
Hmm.
But let's not forget about the practicalities of finding a job
Right. Of course.
in the first place.
Yeah, that's where RoleCatcher really shines.
Okay, so I have to admit, when I hear AI-powered job search, I'm both intrigued and a little terrified.
Yeah.
Can you break it down for me? Like, what does that actually entail?
Sure. So imagine having this like digital assistant that helps you craft the perfect CV
Okay.
that highlights your most relevant skills and experience.
So it's looking at your...
Yeah, so RoleCatcher's AI analyzes job descriptions
Okay.
and it suggests these like really tailored improvements
Oh.
to make your application stand out.
So it's like having this personalized career coach who can look at your CV and be like, hey, this is great.
Exactly.
But you know what would make it even better?
Precisely.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
And it doesn't stop there.
It doesn't.
They've also got this massive database of practice interview questions.
We're talking over 120,000.
120,000 questions.
Yes.
That's more questions than I've asked in my entire life.
A lot of questions.
That's very impressive.
Yeah.
What kind of questions are we talking about here?
They cover a really wide range of topics,
Okay.
from specific teaching methodologies,
Mm-hmm.
classroom management techniques,
Okay.
to broader questions about like your artistic philosophy and how you incorporate technology into your lessons.
So you've practiced your answers to these 120,000 questions.
Right.
You've got your perfectly tailored CV.
Yeah.
What else does RoleCatcher do to help you land that dream job? They don't just like leave you hanging after all that.
Right.
They actually help you connect with potential employers.
Yeah.
They've got this whole system for matching your profile with openings
Mm-hmm.
that align with your skills and experience. It's like a matchmaking service
Right.
for your career.
It's all about making that job search more targeted and efficient.
Totally.
Instead of just sending out applications into the void,
Right.
you're connecting with schools and organizations that are actively looking for someone with your
Yeah.
qualifications.
I like that it takes out all the guesswork.
Yeah.
Instead of wondering if anyone's even going to see this,
Right.
you can focus on prepping for those interviews
Exactly.
and putting your best foot forward.
Yeah.
And speaking of interviews, I read that RoleCatcher even offers AI feedback on your interview answers,
It's true.
which sounds like
Pretty futuristic.
straight out of a sci-fi movie.
It's pretty incredible.
So is it as futuristic as it sounds?
They've developed these algorithms that analyze your responses,
Okay.
your tone of voice, even your body language
Wow.
during virtual interviews.
Okay.
And then it gives you this personalized feedback
Yeah.
on how to improve your communication skills and project confidence.
So it's like having a personal coach
Yeah.
right there analyzing every word,
Exactly.
every gesture.
Mm-hmm.
You know what's funny? As we're talking about all of this,
Yeah.
it really strikes me how much the role of a visual arts teacher
I know.
has really evolved.
It really has.
It's not just about technical skills anymore.
Right? It's about embracing technology,
Yeah.
understanding different learning styles,
Mhm.
and even being kind of a savvy marketer of your own talent.
You've got to get yourself out there.
You do.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, I'm curious,
Yeah.
what stands out to you
Okay.
about all this information?
Well, what I find really compelling is this idea of empowering students
Okay.
to find their own artistic voices.
Yeah.
Because, yes, technical skills are important,
Mm-hmm.
but it's about so much more than that.
Right.
It's about fostering a love of learning,
Yes.
encouraging them to experiment,
Yeah.
and helping students develop the confidence to express themselves authentically through their art.
That's a beautiful sentiment.
Thank you.
It's not just about creating art. It's about creating confident, expressive individuals who can share their unique perspectives
Exactly.
with the world.
Mm-hmm.
So as you continue to explore this path, I really encourage you to keep that in mind.
Okay, I will.
Like, what kind of learning environment do you want to create for your students?
It's a good question.
What values and perspectives do you want to bring to your teaching?
Yeah.
And the answers to those questions
Okay.
will really help guide you to the tools and resources
Right.
and opportunities that'll best support your journey.
That makes sense.
Well, it's been so fascinating
Yeah, this has been great.
learning about all of this with you
Thank you so much for having me.
and for sharing all of your insights.
Oh, of course.
And to everyone listening,
Yes.
keep following your passion for art.
Yeah.
And who knows, maybe someday we'll be looking at artwork created by
Yeah, that would be amazing.
your students,
That would be a dream come true.
inspired by you.
Thank you.
All right, that's it for this deep dive. We'll see you next time.
See you later.